In today's episode, we're going to talk about pond turtles, mixing other fish with your koi, and starting your own pond business. So a question I get asked all the time is, can I put turtles in with my koi? And you know, turtles are a lot of fun. Something you might not know about me, I have some tortoises at home. I have giant sulcatas. I got 5 90-pounders at my house. I think they're amazing, and they're just so fun to watch. And that translates to water turtles as well. I mean, the water turtles are so interesting and fun with this curiosity little look and their funny little mouths when they eat. And they're always a big crowd pleaser. And so I get that question asked a lot of times, can I put some turtles in with my koi? And I don't want to tell you no. I don't want to tell you yes either. I'm going to tell you, if you're going to do it, you must proceed with caution. Too many people are doing it, and with success. And so I don't want to tell you no, not to do it. But I want to tell you some of the dangers that you need to be aware of if you're going to put the turtles in with a koi. First of all, turtles, they're omnivores. I mean, they like all kinds of stuff. They'll eat plants. They're going to eat your favorite water lily, I promise. They're going to eat your plants. They eat fish. They eat insects, snails, all kinds of stuff. But they will train to you food. I mean, if you feed them a couple of 2-3 times a day, they're going to come and they'd rather eat the food that you're feeding them than to chase around a fish that's in your pond. But some of the dangers you need to worry about when you have mixing turtles with your koi specifically, there's a few parasites that are bad for koi, and one of them is carried by turtles, could come into the pond, and that's trichodina. So trichodina could be brought into your pond from a turtle, and then you might have to quarantine your fish after that because you might be introducing some parasites into your pond. So good quarantine protocol is going to be really important if you're going to be putting turtles in with your koi. And probably, I'm going to tell you a story about one of my clients that I told him not to put the turtles in there, and he did it anyways, and he just fell absolutely in love with them. And I had a pretty good connection with this guy because I was at his house every week managing his aquarium in his house at the time. This was many, many years ago. We were taking care of his pond as well. But what we started to notice was that the flanks of some of the koi would have some scratches on them because the turtles were so friendly at feeding time, and all the fish would come running up to him when he's throwing the food in the pond, and the turtles would literally be in the middle of all these fish. So on occasion, I'd see a fin that had a bite mark on some of the koi, but more importantly, I saw a couple fish had some scarring on their side because the turtles have these really long nails, especially the males, and so when they're just like kind of dog paddling up there and hanging out for the food to get dropped in, they would get a scratch on the side of the koi. So we did have to treat some of his fish and manage some wounds that happened. So there's definitely some dangers like that. But like I said, I'm not going to tell you no, but I'm not going to tell you yes. Just those are some things that you need to consider. Another question I get asked all the time is, and this is from a beginner usually because they're saying, what other fish can I put in with koi? And me being a fish geek from way back, I have to say, well, why do you need anything other but koi? There's so many beautiful koi to choose from. Why would you put anything else in there? And they say, no, really, what other fish can I put in there? And I say, well, you can put all kinds of stuff. I'll tell you what I've seen in there. I've seen high-fin banded sharks. I've seen, of course, mosquito fish, little gambusier to eat the insects, or the insect larvae, I should say. White clouds, mollies. I've seen it's like paradise fish. Of course, it's going to depend on where you live. I mean, if you live in one of the cold climates like Montana, it's going to be very different than if you're in Southern California or Florida. I have a customer right now. He has a koi pond at his house. He's got a trout in there. He just bought the house, caught a 12-pound trout, brought it home and put it in his koi pond. And I'm like, what are you doing? But he loves it. And they're together. He's got bass in there and bluegill. It's not a good mix, but he's doing it. And I mean, what can I say? Let me see. I'll tell you this. Me personally, as a fish addict, I could have an entire pond with only Shiro Utsuri, just black and white fish swimming around the pond with all different color patterns. That's the only fish in the pond. Put 100 of them in there. I don't care. I would be completely enamored, and you'd be hard pressed to pull me away from the pond. Or take a kohaku, a single colored fish, a red, and a single color on a white fish in the pond. Give me 50 or 100 of them, and I could be completely pleased with that as well. But if you haven't watched our koi discussion videos, here's a link right here I'll give you. I want you to go watch our koi discussion videos. There's so many amazing, beautiful koi. So you can't just have like one Shiro Utsuri, you gotta have a few. And most of the ponds and the ornamental ponds that you're building in your backyard, you're gonna be limited on how many fish you can put in there, 15, 20 fish maybe. Pick 15 or 20 amazing koi. I will tell you this with the question is, if you have a pond, a koi pond with like some marginal aquatic plants over on the outskirts of the pond, or maybe a bog filter attached, and you have shallow waters in that area, I would probably recommend throwing mosquito fish in there as well, so the mosquito fish can get into the shallow waters and they can manage mosquito larvae if they should show up in the pond. So I'm just going to leave it with that. Go with complete koi, and then you'll be pretty pleased with that. Now, I want to finish the show with a final question. I get asked this a lot, and this is a really fun question for me. I get a lot of people asking me, hey, I'm thinking about starting my own pond business. Will you help me? My answer is absolutely yes, I will help you. If you go way back when I was first starting, I was always networking with other contractors, helping and communicating, sharing information. It's kind of like in my DNA to help people like that. So now later on in my career, when we're developing our own line of waterfalls and water treatments and equipment for building ponds, it's a great benefit because now I can show you some of the equipment that we're offering as well. So the question, we've been training contractors for 15 years, even before I had my own stuff. And of course, I'm going to continue doing that. Let me tell you the story for pond business. If you're going to start your own pond business, it's very easy to get started in maintenance. It's not going to take you a lot of money. It won't cost you a lot to get started. My start was in the aquarium service business. I literally drove around this little beat up old Nissan Sentra, and I kept all my supplies in the trunk, and I would load it and unload it. It smelled awful, of course, but I was literally started my company in the back of a Nissan Sentra, driving around and taking care of aquariums and ponds, and it grew slowly and slowly. And I got started for very, very little bit of money. So I want to tell you another, one of the first guys that I really kind of took under my wing is a good friend of mine still today. His name's Jake Langsley from Aqua Eden, and he is based out of Minnesota. And I met him almost 10 years ago now, and we've been communicating and been good friends ever since. He's a dynamite pond builder. You got to check out some of his stuff. He's an authorized Helix contractor. And the funny thing about Jake is he's an amazing bird guy, and he knows any bird, you name it, and he knows it, tells you where it comes from, what it eats, what it looks like, how tall it is, how much it weighs, everything. And he wanted to call the name of his company Fins and Feathers. And I said, Jake, are you kidding me? A pond construction company cannot be called Fins and Feathers. It just can't. I mean, it'd be fine for if you were going to open a retail store and have a pet shop with fins and feathers. That's cute, but a pond construction company, you need something. It's not macho enough. Not that Aqua Eden is macho, but I just want to tell you that if you're going to come to me and say, hey, I want to start my own pond business, I'm going to shoot from the hip and I'm going to tell you whether I like your name or not. But I can help you with marketing. I can help you with design work. I could show you how to be profitable so you can stay in business and continue helping your customers, and on and on and on. I'm going to end the show with question of the day. My question is, have you ever considered starting your own pond business? Tell me yes. Tell me no way, I want to keep it a hobby. Tell me maybe. I just want to know what you're thinking. Put your answer to my question right in the YouTube comments right here so I can gauge on what you guys are thinking about. If you want me to answer a specific question for you, you know the rules, you know the way to do it. Put a hashtag, asktheponddigger, put it on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I will look for your questions and I'll do my very best to answer them right here on the show. Until next time, I'm Eric Triplett the Pond Digger, and I hope you dig ponds as much as I do.